Hey, my name is Eric Stewart. I am a voice actor and a musician. As a voice actor, I played Brock and James in the original Pokemon. I was Seto Kaiba in Yu-Gi-Oh! I've directed probably about 300 different series of anime in my life, and let's see. And then as a musician, I toured with Ringo Starr, Leonard Skinner, Peter Frampton, so my two careers, they're kind of balanced, but the younger people know this one and the older people know that one. The interaction I've had with the Nashville geek community is actually kind of interesting, because when I first moved down here, I didn't realize that there was such a strong population of my fellow geek peeps. At first I wasn't really doing conventions at all. I thought that was kind of a strange thing to do, and being based in New York for a while, it was harder to travel. Now being sort of central in the country, kind of, Nashville being central in my world, it's easier to go out and do conventions. But then there was one that was here, MTAC, appeared on my radar, and I thought, okay, an anime convention in town, that seems kind of easy to do. I can roll out of bed. I don't really have to put on anything fancy, maybe just a hat. And I did it, and I did the con, and of course there were about 15,000 fans there, it was pretty amazing, because as a voice actor, we really don't get the immediate gratification of actually interacting with anyone who's watched us on Saturday morning cartoons. As a musician, I get that. So it was really cool to finally get feedback from, you're the voice of my childhood, I had a crush on Brock, James is funny, whatever. So that was really neat, and it really gave me an idea of how many of the fans are in this area, and even traveled a little bit out of the area to get here. If you can pull 15,000 kids into Nashville for an anime convention, we've got a lot of geeks, and that's great. I love that. I would have to say that some of the more memorable, special memories interacting with my Nashville geeks and peeps, and I say geeks with love because I am one myself, was the first time someone actually said to me, I had a really tough time in my, being a sort of an awkward guy, or in school and stuff like that, and the shows you worked on and the characters you played really helped me get through some tough times, and you don't even realize that. You think I'm just being funny, or I'm being really dark and serious with Kaiba. But it was really kind of neat to see that it was more than just a cartoon, but these were like friends or mentors or older brothers that you played that would give them guidance. So that was kind of cool. And actually, there was a story I got to tell you. I got I guess this was an email probably 14 years ago, and it was, I need to write a school paper. Can I interview you? You're my hero. And I was like, sure. This was a girl that was about 12 or 13 at the time, and I said, sure, that's fine. And so she gave me a list of questions, and I wrote the answers, and she handed it in, and I never heard from her again besides just thank you. Well, recently I was at a convention where a woman walked up to me and handed me her school paper. She was there with her fiance, and she said, I've been waiting, I guess 13 or 14 years to finally meet you at a convention, because that I was such an awkward kid, and when you said yes to doing my interview, I was able to present that in my class. And at that point, it changed everything, because all of my friends thought I was the coolest person in the world, that I had interviewed you for this school project. And it gave me so much confidence after that it totally changed my life. And I'm looking at this question and answer thing that we did, and she's like, could you sign it? And I'm like, yeah. And of course there were some other voice actors there, and I was like, you got to hear this story. I was so excited to share that. And like, that's the human side of all of this, is that you forget that there's that side. So I mean, that might be a little off subject for you, but it's just such a great sort of fandom moment, and it really meant a lot to me. My impression of the geek community here in Nashville is, I think, relates to the way I feel that Nashvillians are. This is probably one of the friendliest areas in the country. I mean, there's something very special about Nashville. And what's kind of cool about this group here which most communities of the geekdom are supportive of one another. But here it's even further than I've experienced in other places. This is a community where you can be sort of the outcast, and because we all are, and you can be kind of, you know, the one that doesn't fit into all. I don't want to play sports, okay, but maybe nobody else does, and there's so much support that I think that's kind of a really special thing. There are other supportive areas, but I think it's really, really on a different level here in Nashville. It would be nice if there were. I have a friend that does sort of like little monthly gatherings, and you see that they're itching to do something where they can have more constant interaction. That it's not enough to just, you know, get together and do this, but it would be great to have more on the list to do, because it's obviously there. I think that Geek Out, which is first of all, fantastic name. But also, I think the way that it would fit into the whole geek community here is, what I know is if I had a place where I could hang out with people that liked what I liked, play games, network, and learn that maybe there's more than 10 other people that are doing what I'm doing. Maybe there's 100 other people. Wait, maybe there's 1,000. And we all know that some of us who are maybe in that geek world can be a little antisocial sometimes, or just awkward with social situations. This would give them a place where they can be themselves and fit in. And maybe it would give them that little bit of a push to sort of branch out beyond their 4 friends that they've got. And especially in a cafe type format space, because it's a social club, really is what it is, that's open to everyone. And I also think that it reminds me a lot. I'm originally from Brooklyn, so it reminds me a lot of the Williamsburg kind of bohemian atmosphere, especially for East Nashville. That's exactly the same neighborhood to me. And I think that is a perfect fit, because it is being a pioneer in a community. And this will give them a place that sort of, there's no real strict rules of you can't dress like that, or, you know, you want to come in cosplay and play a board game? Okay, that's cool, right? So I think it's a great idea.
James says, I geek out.